So this was the work we have done yesterday. Written the code, written the collection. That was the way function return. We also did one more thing. We also written one more function called get by ID, where I shown you how we can use parameterized command object, or we can use simple like a concatenation. This is not good practice of writing concatenation like this way. Okay, you should always go for, because this creates a problem of SQL injection problem, correct? No? So that's why this is okay. You get the result. I understand. We can again follow the same kind of work, get that data. So in that case, since the function name is here called get by ID, I know it returns only one object. That's why here I did not use list. I use simple like customer. List is no more required. One record was fetched that was found by using this method. And once data is available, I could really get that thing itself. Get by location also we did the same thing. So get me all those particular customers for that particular location. So that was the code we tried. Yes. We also use get customer by ID, where I shown you the parameters query how we can write for this also, where we can use SQL parameter object and we can specify more information. What is the type of this parameter? ID. Is it integer? It is a date. So you can define that extra metadata also, and you can really give the value. In previous example, we were only giving string values. It was by default string taken, but whenever you like to specify some user defined type, we always go and take this particular object and add extra attributes. What is the type of it here? DB type. DB type, it gives me where it gives me string, it gives me different type of your inbuilt types available. Okay, no? This is the way parameters are added, the field method has been called, data has been fetched, customer object is created, and that object is written. We can also think about writing insert query also. So for insert query, we can really use a method called new row, and for that new row we will add our new object under that row. This row we will add it within your tables, and then we'll call the function called update. So this will perform my insertion code. Okay, no? So this was not discussed yesterday, but actually I'm keeping ready for you. Update function. You're again getting all the records, and after that you're going to find that particular record if its ID is matched. If that ID is matched, you get that particular record under data row, and we will update other attributes according to the object which you pass. And again you call update function. So when this update function is getting called, no, it doesn't replicate the whole data from the data table. It will only replicate that record which has been updated. So for example, think about in this application, if you have used select star from customers, you might have received 100 records, but only one record is updated. That doesn't mean the update function sends all those 100 records. It will only send that record which has been modified. So that means the record has been dirty by its data changes. Only that record will be sent back. So only one update command would have been sent. Rest of the data will not be sent back. And database will take care of updating only that record which has been sent to you. This is a very intelligent function. It has been implemented by this update function. Okay, good. So I would expect, please try this extra work of performing insertion, updation, deletion against your database, which is nothing but your products database. Right? Fantastic. Let me come back to our agenda, which we like to perform. I really want to go back under this application, and under this application, I want to access data from the MongoDB database. So for example, if I just try to see, you need to have MongoDB database installed on your machine, or you can get connected to the online MongoDB database available also. So what I want to do, I have already created a lot of solution. I have created a solution, and under the solution, I'm trying to add number of projects inside. So there are few projects are class libraries, there are few projects are applications, and to test every concept separately, I'm creating separate console application. So why don't we do inside this area and try to create one more separate application which will communicate with the MongoDB database. So I need to write my own console application. Okay. Till today, I'm going to use console applications. But from next week, we are going to totally shift into the web architecture, web development, where the same logic will be reused. These all console applications we are trying to build, they're acting like unit test programs, where we are testing every individual class, every individual method, and trying to see whether they're working as per the expectations. So somehow I'm trying to take care of writing something called unit test through this console application. So can I just go back under this area and try to create one more console application where I will perform MongoDB database connectivity? Correct. Now, if you want to do that work itself, let me just do one thing. Let me first see whether I have got MongoDB database installed or not. So I'm just going back here, trying to access MongoDB. So you can always install this MongoDB Compass community, which is a free edition available. Correct. So when I just try to access MongoDB Compass utility, so provided this MongoDB server is running on your computer, you can always check whether MongoDB which is installed is running or not. How do you cross check? You can always go back under the start run option if you're using Windows. Start run. Use services.msc. Service Control Manager. It is the utility of operating system which always gives us information what kind of services are running in a background. Okay, so services.msc command, when I type, I really get one GUI-based tool. The tool shows me number of services right now running on my Windows 10 machine. Can you see here? It shows services, local computer, and when I just see everything has been populated inside this area, you'll get hundreds of services been listed inside this area. There might be one service available. For example, there might be something called MySQL is running. So can you see here's my MySQL running? MySQL. Status of this WAMP MySQL 64 DB. It is right now running. Status is it is running. It can be stopped, it can be paused, it can be restarted by using this. So the way I really see MySQL, I have got Apache server running. I got MariaDB also running. So let me just see whether there's a MongoDB also available. MongoDB server. Can you see if you install MongoDB server on your computer, you get MongoDB server status is running. You can start, you can stop the service using this administrative tool. Correct? No? Fantastic. It is already running. So if I have this MongoDB server running in a background, okay, no, can I access this MongoDB server and try to create certain collections or not? So I'm using MongoDB Compass community tool, which will help me to connect my MongoDB database. You can see recent activities while connected with MongoDB server. So my MongoDB server is running on port number 27017. Okay, no? So if I could access, I get the information. What is that information I'm just getting inside this area? You have MongoDB server running localhost 27017. Okay, and inside this area it's a standalone. There's only one particular MongoDB server running. In that MongoDB server, I really find I have got different kind of databases created. So you can see admin database, you can see e-commerce database. Oh, e-commerce database, fantastic. If I just go back and try to see e-commerce database, this database, what does it contain? Oh, it contains collections. In RDBMS, your database contains table. In MongoDB, your database contains collection, and you have got collection something called customers collection, authors collection, heroes collection, products collection. If I just look around, try to see according to my e-commerce application perspective, products. So when I just look around products, I really find the products collection contains one object. We call that object as a JSON object, JavaScript object notation object, where the information has been organized in the form of key and value pair. In case of your RDBMS database, that information has been organized in the form of records. Am I right? Please try to mute your microphone. Okay, so that will not create any disturbance for our session as well as for other students. Okay, always ensure when you start your training, your meeting, you try to keep your microphone on mute mode. Okay, very important. That creates a disturbance for the session. Thank you very much. So here I said that in RDBMS, table contains records. In NoSQL database, your database contains collections and collection contains object. These objects are defined by using key value pair like a dictionary object, correct? No? Where you have got a key, product ID is a key and the value is 1305. Title is a key and gleaming bunch, it is my product name. Picture is again my key and here I'm trying to give the URL of the image which I would keep it at some server level. And this is the way every product information is going to be presented. The way you also have got primary key in your normal database table, for every record. Here I will say you'll have one particular unique identifier. Okay, using some GUID number has been defined. This is the way your every object within a collection will be represented. So don't think this collection framework which we're talking about in .NET, similar kind of thing, MongoDB also use the collection. So yes, we wanted this data to be accessed. I have got a products collection created. You can always go back, use this MongoDB tool and also understand how we can insert, how we can update through this tool itself. But I wanted to show this everything by using programmatic way. So can we write a simple console application? The console application will be able to fetch these all collections from this MongoDB database server to its own area. So we really required for this particular connectivity with MongoDB under the .NET Core some particular connector. So let us do one thing. If I want to have it, okay, there is one table I just shown you, products table. Can you also see there's one more table I'll call authors table, customers table, customers table. Okay, you like to create something called authors table. So Grady Butch, object oriented analysis book written by this best person, Martin Flower. Okay, clean code book, Donbox, inside com. These are very good authors, so I just kept these authors names here. So I have got number of tables created. So from e-commerce application perspective, we can really create these collections under this MongoDB, and we will be able to access this all kind of collections within our .NET Core application by using MongoDB driver. Like those of you who learn Java, they might have come across something called Java has got a concept called JDBC, and there is a concept called JDBC driver. So like that way, in .NET Core you can use connector word, or you can use driver word, or you can use simple like a provider. These are the different terminologies has been used for getting communicated with the database by some kind of code. So my job is, Ravi, would you please go back onto this particular thing and try to create one simple console application which is going to test my MongoDB. So let me just do one thing. I require certain driver. So I need a driver as a dependency. Without that MongoDB driver, I will not be able to write my console application. So best way, Control Shift C. Okay. So inside this area, .NET new console dash O MongoDB test CRUD app. Just giving some name. MongoDB test CRUD app. That is a simple console application I'm trying to add within my online solution. But that is just like a folder created. Okay, this folder I like to add it within my solution. So you know that .NET CLI command, .NET SLN add MongoDB slash mongodb.csv or as a file. Oh, something wrong. I did not write my command properly. .NET. Okay, so it tells me your solution has been successfully added within your, sorry, your project has been added within your solution. Can you just look around here, MongoDB CRUD application? Yes, I really find this is the application. I already have it here. Just for testing point of view, let me just go back and try to run it. cd MongoDB. Okay, cd MongoDB CRUD test. Let me just one thing. .NET build. Trying to build your project. Okay, build succeed, zero warning. Always good practice, my dear friend. Try to see when you're working application, you'll have zero errors and zero warnings. Errors will never allow your program will be compiled into DLL. Warnings will always show runtime exceptions if you do not handle properly. So your code should be error-free code. Okay. In our software industry, we always use one word that is called zero defect product. Try to deliver such a kind of product which is going to have a zero defect. And how do you ensure your product will have zero defect? Zero errors, zero warnings. So right from the first day, if you have this strategy maintained, I think that programming is going to be fantastic. Chalo, let's do the thing. I would like to test this application. .NET run. I haven't written any lines of code, but just want to see hello world message. Got it. Now we have here hello world message. Now what is your next work? Now inside this area, I really want to go back under this application, and under this application, I wanted to access MongoDB connectivity. Correct? No? So how do I do it here? I hope you remember, if you are going to depend on some external dependency DLLs, external dependency class libraries, so we have to download it. So we can always go back under this area, and under this area, correct? No? Let me just do one thing. Type a command. I want that particular package which will help me to communicate with MongoDB database. So you know .NET Sailor command, .NET, what is that? Add package, .NET add package. You give the name of the package name here, Mongo, M-O-N-G-O, Mongo DB or dot driver. Now, if you do not understand how do I know these names, we can always go back and Google search and try to look for these keywords, and we'll get official documentation about this command. So I want to use .NET add package MongoDB driver. So when I press enter, let me just check it. So determining project to restore, and now it is trying to download this MongoDB driver. It is saying yes, it is restored properly. So can you just go back and open your CSPROJ file? So when I just look around the CSPROJ file, that is your C# project file of your project, you really find it has added one entry. What is the entry has been added? Package name included MongoDB driver 2.12.1. In last type, it was something called MySQL, correct? No. Now this time I like to use this MongoDB driver. So I have just inputted that. I have just added its package within my project, and the package has been listed here under this item group. Corresponding code might have been kept under your bin folder. Can you see under the bin folder? DLL is there, plus other configurations are there. Can you just look around your ref? Under ref, you get your DLL. But if I just have a look about this particular thing itself, whenever I just come across, can I just go back and try to see something called OBJ folder? Under OBJ folder, I also get certain informations. I do find the debug. I find to make this application runnable, there are so many kind of extra components has been added. You find it? Good. So I like to show you, always have a kind of curious mindset to see what are the kind of contents have been created automatically. So this particular package has been now available within your project. Now, can I just go back under this area? If the package has been downloaded, the package has been configured, I really want to go back under this application and write some program.c# file code. Okay, no? So I really want to go back under this MongoDB application, find that particular program.c# file, and inside this, I really wanted to import the namespaces. So the kind of namespace is really required to be imported inside this area. That is nothing but MongoDB driver. So let me just go back onto this application and import this namespace, MongoDB driver. When I use this MongoDB driver, so during that time I want to access data from my products. So can I just go back and look around my MongoDB collection here? You need to get ID, you want to get title, you want to get picture, you want to get category, you want to get price, you want to get payment, delivery term. So these are nothing but the attributes of your object you like to read within your .NET application. So accordingly, you should have corresponding business entity class. So I could really go back inside this area and try to write a class, okay, which is a product class. So class, let me declare public class product, business entity class. This business entity class will contain your attributes. I really wanted to use attributes. You know, last time we did that same kind of work. So if I really go back, please define those attributes, which are exactly matching with those keywords, we have used for your collection. So I'm just going back under this area and declaring those attributes. Can you see the attributes are declared? So class product has been defined by using auto properties, ID, product ID, title, description, category, picture, price, quantity, payment term, delivery. Okay, exact mapping with your collections keys, collections containing that object, and that object is going to have key, and those keys related my class is ready. But this time we have to do one small thing. We would like to tell your ID is actually a special kind of property which is actually matching with the identifier, correct? No, so your JSON object which has been shown here, can you get the ID? Yes, it is the ID. So this ID is of what type? Object ID, and this is a unique ID that has been auto-generated within your MongoDB collection. So how do you map it here? Can you attach certain metadata with this ID to tell your driver, this is the identifier? Like in Java, like in database, we call them as a primary key, but this is not something called table I'm talking about. I'm talking like a collection object. So here we have to use certain attributes. And if you want to use certain attributes to decorate information against your thing, we have to go back and we have to import certain namespaces. So here I'm using certain namespaces. Can you see MongoDB dot boson binary, okay, JSON object, binary schema of your JSON object, boson, correct? No, bson, and we like to use those attributes, so we are using bson.serialization.attributes so that we can attach certain metadata. We can attach certain metadata for your existing field. So I'm just going to make slight change for my ID, and for the ID I'm going to attach certain metadata. You remember how exactly metadata you can attach for a class, for a variable. So I think that is what exactly we use word called decorator annotation. In C sharp we use word called attribute, and these attributes are defined using square bracket. Can you see? So what are those attributes? To make ID map with that schema ID. So you're using bson representation, bson type object ID, that is the keyword already given to you, which makes this is the identifier which I like to specify. Okay, you know, bson ID, but I want to give more information on that bson ID. What is that? It is of type object ID. I have just defined this kind of thing. So something extra information we have to attach with your properties in this particular MongoDB applications. That is what you call decorating your existing information by using certain metadata. We have done that work. Now once this work is done, we have to come back within our code, and within this particular code, now what is to be done? Now within this particular code, we have to come back and write some lines of code which will perform the task of getting connectivity. So my business entity class has been defined. See, let me come back to the main program, and under this main program I need to follow certain steps. What are the steps to be followed? I really want to display my objects. So can you just do one thing, create the object. Oh, if I want to create an objects collection because I want to fetch data from MongoDB collections and I wanted to put within my .NET collection. So have you imported the .NET collections namespace? Oh, I forgot. So let me just do one thing. Would you please tell me which is that namespace we have to import it here? Can somebody help me? Yes, do let me know. Using system dot collections, no? Yes, collections dot generic, because I want to deal with list collection. So can I just go back under this program and try to create the object of that list of products? So can I create a container which is going to be empty initially? Yes, list of product will be my empty container. Now, if this is the empty container, I wanted this empty container to be filled with the data fetched from the MongoDB database. This programming is one of the simplest programming you'll see in this whole world right now. So what I want to do, can you just get connected with the MongoDB? How do I get connected with the MongoDB? So this MongoDB driver has given you one class. The name of that class is called Mongo client. So I can really create the object of Mongo client where I specify the server name and the port number on which my MongoDB is running. And that data I will capture within a variable. So accordingly, I'm just going to do one small change. I'm going to add one line here itself. Can you see? Where underscore Mongo client is equal to new Mongo client. This Mongo client class is given by MongoDB driver, where I'm specifying MongoDB colon slash slash the name of my server and port number. If your MongoDB server is running on another particular computer connected with your network, you can always specify IP address, and you please give that port number on which port your MongoDB server is listening. MongoDB server is a dedicated server, is actually ready for any client request. So this all servers work on particular specific port number, logical number. Okay, so 27107, it is the port number. So this will actually try to create the object of Mongo client, and this Mongo client object will communicate with your MongoDB server. So this particular Mongo client actually behave like a proxy. I hope you come across this proxy word when I discussed during my session. Anybody could remember where I use the word called proxy? Somewhere I was talking to proxy war, somewhere I was talking something called India, Pakistan. Anybody remember this proxy word where I discussed? For which topic? Delegation, delegate, agent, broker. So a client, Mongo client, it is a class which will act like a proxy, and on behalf of your the console application, this proxy will actually establish the communication with the MongoDB client server architecture. Any server, if you want to access within a remote client, you need some particular proxy object, and that proxy object on behalf of your application will communicate with the actual server. Okay, so distributed computing always demand this communication, and for that communication they always need to say that you should have a server, and you should also have some proxy object within your application who will perform this distributed communication. So MongoDB driver has given that Mongo client where I'm specifying that information, and I'm really getting the reference, dynamic reference. Now once I get this reference of my server through this particular Mongo client, the client will be returned to you. The proxy object will be returned to you. Once you get the proxy object, why don't you call the method of that proxy object, which will give me the database? So you know the database name. What is the database name? Have you observed? E-commerce. So I need to find a particular API of this particular Mongo client, which will help me to get that database reference. So if I follow official documentation, I'll find there's a method available for that Mongo client whose name is called as get database. Okay, get database. Have you checked? Get database is the method I'm trying to use. This method belong to Mongo client. Now, since we have started learning object model, we are learning about these new keywords. We are learning about these methods. So these methods, unless until you don't use it, unless until you don't see the documentation, you will never get familiar with that. So somewhere you have to take this help with me, and also read certain official documentations to get more clarity. So get database function will give me the reference of that database, which is called e-commerce. And once I have this e-commerce database reference, so this database object also has got certain method to give me collection, which is there inside. So I would find there might be certain method available. So can I just do one thing? I write here where collection is equal to db object dot. There is a method called db object dot get collection. What is the method? The name is called get collection method. And this get collection method, okay, would return you that products. So if I just define what is that particular collection name, products, but what is the type of data it is going to return you? So this particular function we have to define like this way. The get collection will return me product type. So I have to define get collection of which type, product. And what is the name of that collection in your database, products. Accordingly, I will get the reference of that collection. Fantastic. It is much more simpler than your SQL queries and everything. It's just giving you feeling you're working with the object oriented collection. And now I want to go back and I want to search that data. So how do I search that data? How do I get that thing itself? So you use collection object, which you get, that will have a method called find method. But how do I find it? How do I find it? If you get the record, so I'm writing here something called underscore equal to angular bracket. What is the symbol? Can you just look around this symbol? Underscore lambda expression true. If you find, okay, if you find, then get that into the collection called to list. That's a simple thing. And once you get the collection, again that to list, can you iterate for every record? So can I use extension method for it? For each. And for that for each, can I define some kind of lambda expression? Get each and every product. From where? From where? See the code. Am I using all good practice of writing the lines of code? So collection has a find method. If it finds a record, get that all kind of records and put under this to list object. Once you get the to list object, then iterate that loop. So can I just directly write here for each product? And now under this product, can I do that particular displaying of each and every data? So you will use your code something called console.writeLine product.title, console.writeLine description, console.writeLine.picture, something like that way. So I could just go back and do this thing. So doesn't it look like as again one more simplified code which we are trying to achieve inside this area? So we are trying to make our code modern code and trying to make this code much more self-descriptive code. So you redefine here the for each loop, the searching criteria, and converting data into the form of list has been totally done under this simple kind of code. Yes, that's it. How many lines of code were written for getting data from the MongoDB? Hardly one thing. Get the reference of your client object, get the database. Once you get the database, then please get the collection. Once you get the collection, please get the list. And once you get that list, please iterate that list using for each and try to display every product information. A very simplified code we have just have it at this moment for getting data from my MongoDB. Can I just see my things have been perfectly set out and it's been properly compiled code and I could test this program. So let me just go back and use my console. Oh, unnecessary files are there. So .NET build or .NET run command, even if you use it will by default compile build. If successfully done, it will run the application. So I can directly use shortcut command something called .NET run. And trying to see whether I would be able to fetch data and try to see this data on my console printed. So behind the compilation process, the linking process, the building process, the DLL creation, and this DLL will be running under the .NET exe, and the main function might be called, and the main function will try to get the driver, try to call its function called get database, get collection, iterating. So waiting for the result. I hope I'll get the data. Something's wrong inside this code. Why my code is not getting run? Oh, error. Fantastic. What is the error? The name product doesn't exist in the current context. Please see the line number 38. Program.shisha file line number 38. Oh, that is a mistake I did. Have you seen? P is supposed to be small, no? And the same product I'm using here to display. So here the P is small case letter, uppercase letter, lowercase letter. Here is actually I made it as a product. It is not class, it is a variable object. Let me just try again. Control C, .NET build. That's why I always use a build command first, which will give me comfort position to see things have been working perfectly as per expectations. Very good, fantastic. I really said as it is, zero warnings and zero errors. So let me just do one thing. Let me see the output of it. So .NET run. Fantastic. I really saw a lot of data being presented to me. Okay, I see here inside at this moment. Oh, fantastic. I really get all the records. Gleaming bunch. There is no other flower as cheerful as Gerbera. Okay. Pink wrap. Gerberas are famous for their cheerful demeanor. Okay, which gives me 5 pink Gerberas. Sunshine Gerbera. From where this data is getting fetched? Oh, my dear friend, this data is getting fetched from this collection. Don't think if you rely on this object model, if you understand this object model, if you understand their classes, if you understand their methods, you follow on that documentations, I think your lot of work would have been simplified. The complexity of communicating with MongoDB has been encapsulated by class. Which is that class? That class is nothing but Mongo client class. The complexity of communicating with the database has been totally encapsulated by the method get database method. The complexity of getting that collections and converting that data in the form of list has been totally encapsulated by the toList method of that thing find. So I could really go back and try to see this particular code very well. If you want to know this thing very well, if you want to know about those methods, please come back to your browser. please access your Chrome browser. Once you get your Chrome browser, try to use your search. Okay, sabka malik hai Google. We are in this world of internet, so rather than downloading documentations on your machine, it's best search documentation online. So .NET Core plus MongoDB driver. Can you find MongoDB driver? And I might get some official help here. How do you access MongoDB database connector? So docs.mongodb.com. If I just click on that area, you are into the docs.mongodb.com drivers. It gives me the official help. How do you deal with the MongoDB? Okay, you know, see, complete help is available. And this is coming from MongoDB. So if MongoDB is a database vendor, listen carefully. If MongoDB is a database vendor, so they wanted to see their MongoDB database will be used by a lot of companies. So they will try to see their driver will have all the they will have their own kind of database with all possible drivers for Java, driver for Node.js, driver for PHP, driver for Python, driver for Ruby, driver for Scala, driver for your Swift. So all possible languages, Go language. Don't think that's the beauty of this whole kind of environment. So providers, database providers will take care of giving their drivers. We can just go back and find which technology you're working, get that technology, find that documentation, look for this MongoDB piece on MongoDB driver, okay, you know, and I can really see official documentation help here. They are continuously updating that. How do I use it? Okay, so you can really find the documentations, MongoDB driver. So if I just have a look around this area, so see connecting for more information. So how do I connect it? Nugget is the simplest way of getting driver. What is the word is here? Nugget, it is the simplest way of getting the driver. So Nugget package manager, that is nothing but what I really talk about in my area, which is nothing but your .NET CLI command. So I could really go back and try to find my .NET CLI command. And under this .NET CLI command, I could really find inside my driver being downloaded in our programming. Correct, no? Good. Fantastic. So can I just select the option, something called installation? Correct, no? You need to spend your time. So if you want to download this MongoDB driver, how do I download? Can you come back to the page, MongoDB driver, and it says you .NET add package MongoDB driver. This command you type it under your console window if you have got .NET Core install. So this command I just typed it, and because of that, within my program, the corresponding entries happen under the CSPROJ file. Where is my CSPROJ file? Here's my CSPROJ file, and this entry has been there, where the driver has been available. And when I use my .NET restore command or .NET build command, if these driver files are not downloaded, these are DLLs, correct? No, this is a DLL. So this DLL will be downloaded on your machine, and you can start using the classes within your program and start working on that area. That is what exactly we did inside this area. Tell me the number of lines of code you written for database connectivity code by using that connected disconnected architecture, and the number of lines of code you written for getting the data, which is simplified. I really find this MongoDB is actually much more simplified. Okay, you know? So you can also perform CRUD operations, my dear friend. Yes, we can also perform CRUD operations like insert, update, delete. So we have to just rely on their methods. The way there's a method called find, there might be method called insert, there might be method something called update, there might be method something called delete. And using this insert delete method, I can specify which object to be deleted, which object to be which particular record to be received. The way we followed, we can really go back under this area and try to create another separate project which will perform me all kind of operations against MongoDB CRUD operations. Don't think it is going much more simplified now? So if you could do with this MongoDB, I think some of you can really go back and try to do some kind of work with whom? You can really go back and try to do some kind of data reading, data manipulation commands against the Oracle also. Yes. So I could really write my lines of code for communicating with virtually any database. So .NET Core has got that capability. Listen carefully. .NET Core has got that capability. World's almost each and every database you can communicate with .NET Core because those drivers are available using .NET Add Package command, and we can perform that task. That's why I always say yes. If you compare Java with the .NET, they are on the same level. You compare .NET, Java, Node.js, they're also on the same level. But when you think about the performance point of view, in December, okay, there are some third party company actually tested the performance of Node.js, tested the performance of .NET Core, and also perform the common language, sorry, Java runtime also. And that time they come up with the analysis. It is the .NET Core is much more highly performance oriented runtime than Node.js as well as with Java runtime. That is why the industry is actually going towards the inclination of that .NET Core implementations. And virtually every possible database you can access by using this .NET Core. Slightly added some extra importance for giving you about why .NET Core is now taking momentum, and so many companies are now moving from Windows compatibility to the open source world using this .NET Core. Got it? Chalo. So why don't we do one thing? The way I created simple like a MongoDB get code, can I just create simple console-based front-end application? I say that let us try to create one front-end based application which will help me to access the data about my customers. Have you seen here? Where's my customer? Is my customer. So here you find city 45, Ravi, first name, last name, Ganesh Shinde, Umesh, I wanted, can you do one thing, write a code so that I will write simple console based utility, and that console based utility will help me to insert data, update data, delete data. Now I would not waste time for writing that whole kind of lines of code because this same kind of code is going to be repeated. So accordingly, let me just do one thing, try to come back and directly jump you to that application, which you can really build up by using small implementation within your applications. Okay, no? So I wanted to go back and write one console application where the console application will perform me the task of insertion, updation, deletion. So let us do one thing. I will go back, try to create a console application. Students data I like to fetch, products data I like to fetch, which I already kept it ready for you to show you. Okay, so let me just get that screen at this moment here. Let me find whether I kept it ready. Hmm. I think I kept it ready. Can you see my screen? Yeah, are you able to see my screen? Yes. So here is our application. Here our environment, our MongoDB test project which we just now created. I have also added one more extra project called student MongoDB code test. Can you find there's one more project now you can see inside this area? Yes. Yes. There's one more project is kept. The project is called MongoDB CRUD test. There is a project available. I have a requirement. Can you just go back under this project? I wanted to see the output like this way. Okay, so cd MongoDB student test. That is what is the name of my project is inside. So let me just do one thing. Cd student MongoDB test. When I just try to get this particular application, please see the output first. .NET run. When I say .NET run, it's a ready-made console application. When I try to run this application, it's a console-based front-end application. It's a console-based front-end application where you have option. Okay. Do you want to see all the objects? Press a button 4. Do you want to delete particular object? Press a button 3. Do you want to update existing document of that MongoDB? Press button 2. Or if you just want to insert new record, press button 1. So if I just press a button here, something called 4, it shows me right now Ravi Tamde, Ganesh and Umesh Kumar. Okay. So Ganesh Shinde, Umesh Kumar, Ravi Tamde, age 45, age 25, age 34, their locations has been printed to you. So that means this particular 4 option, whenever I press, I get all the objects from my MongoDB. That is the database just now which I shown to you. You find? Can you just go back onto this console application and try to use, do you want to continue? Yes. So what do you want to do? I want to insert one more record. So can I press a button here, something called 2 now? 2. Sorry, I want to insert it. 1. Enter. So please enter your first customer's name. So who is your customer? So my customer at this one is something called Ankur. Ankur. Last name Prasad. I'm just trying to add. Customer age, I'm just trying to give it here something called 29. Enter. Please enter the city. He is from Ranchi, attending our session right now. Enter. So do you want to press Y for continuing? Yes, Y. Can you show that record 4? Can you get Ankur Prasad data has been added? I wanted to delete particular record. So which record you like to delete? So can I just press here Y? Oh, delete option 3. Can I press a 3 option here? 3. Enter. Please enter the first name of that particular record which you want to delete. So I like to delete Ravi's record. So can I just go back and type here Ravi, which is the first name? That means now it should search Ravi within that collection. And if Ravi is found, then that Ravi record, that Ravi JSON object from MongoDB to be removed. Press enter. So press Y to continue. Yes. Can you see all records now? 4. Are you able to see Ganesh Shinde, Umesh Kumar, Ankur Prasad? These are the objects present in your MongoDB. Can I just go back and refresh my MongoDB? Okay. Let me just refresh my, I really want to get my data. So let me just see properly under this application. So my record supposed to be deleted. So if I want to say that record deleted, let me just do one thing. Go back and use Y4 record has been removed. So how exactly this work has been taken care? Can you just come across inside the code now? We'll see that thing. If I really go back and try to see my program.c file. So what is the first thing you look around inside this area? Please go back and see your CSPROJ file. Yes, what exactly under this project file we did? We added the package MongoDB driver. If the package has been added, we have written a program.c file. Yes, we have written the program.c file. So what program.c file contains? Program.c file contains 2 classes. Which are those 2 classes? One class represent my customer. The customer class will be defined by using their attributes. Okay. So this time I use ID, but this time ID when I use, what is the attribute I specified here? Object ID. In last example, what did I do? I use ID as my variable, but I associated decorator. Here I did not use decorator, but I use something called object ID. Who is going to define this object ID type? So have you observed on the top, the 2 namespaces we imported? MongoDB.bson and MongoDB.driver. Can you just look around inside the code and try to see what kind of logic you have written under the main function? Okay, rest of thing remains as it is. I'm interested how you build this console application GUI. Console application user interface, CUI. C stands for console, U stands for user, I interface. So here I have got here some particular functions written. Can you see there's a main function available? Focus on the main function. So what is this main function is going to do? This main function, if I just look around and show you something, what is it trying to do? Oh, it is going to call function called CRUD with MongoDB. So separate function I kept it, CRUD with MongoDB function. Where is this CRUD with MongoDB? Can you get CRUD with MongoDB? Yes, I think that is the function might be giving you user interface and some kind of like options. So if I could have a look around this area, can you get something important? What do you find? CRUD with MongoDB. It is the kind of function which I have written, which will try to create the object of Mongo client, will get the connection of that database, which will get the collections customers. And once you get the collections customer, I want to do some kind of task. So would you please give some kind of console based UI key insert one, insert update two like that way. So this is the simple thing is done. And have you seen inside this area, we are trying to build the application using switch statement. So switch case 1, switch case 2, switch case 3, switch case 4, and default. If nothing is chosen, show the message, please choose correct option. So if you just look around, what is the first step? You're going to call a function called insert one function. So insert one function given by whom? Insert one function belong to collection. Who is collection? Collection is nothing but that collection object. So don't think the MongoDB driver has given you collection class, which actually contains insert one method, find one and update method, delete one method, and find method. Are you getting? So this find method, this delete one method, this insert one method, these all methods are actually given by that driver. So our job is to focus on that driver documentations and accordingly write some lines of code for doing that whole work itself. Okay, no? So get collection and perform that task. Insert one. That is a simple kind of thing we are trying to do here. Insert one. So this simple one lines of code is actually inserting your object. Which object you like to insert? I want to insert the object of customer. So get customer function will get that customer object. So where is the get customer function? There's one helper function I kept it because this function is really required every time to ask get the input. So don't think the input code is written here. Please enter your customer first name, please enter your customer's last name, please enter your customer's age, please enter your customer this thing, and then whatever data you capture using a string, get that data and accordingly create a customer and return that customer. So don't you think this get customer function actually act like a data entry screen in your programming word of, you call it a form, okay, and this form you're trying to show it by using like a console. So tomorrow if I want to convert this application into graphical user interface application, I think I will only change this logic. Right now my form is CUI form. CUI form means console user interface form. So how do you accept data from the console? You can always accept data from the console by using console.readline file. Console.writeline to write output on a screen. Console.readline get the data from the screen through keyboard, and whatever data is going to come, store the data. So this particular form actually act like an input output. It will act like an input form. That is what I really call is my GUI, user interface. And this is the function is going to get this data, and accordingly the customer object will be created and the customer object will be sent back to that function who is going to call it. Okay, no? So have you observed inside this area the kind of functions I use under this area? Once you get that thing, get customer will get that particular screen, will actually take the data, will create the customer object, and the customer object will be sent back to the insert one method, which is inbuilt method, out of the box method given by this particular MongoDB driver. So like that way, I wanted to search. If you want to search, what is the method available? Find one and update and give that customer. So find one and update is the method. But for the find one and object method, how do you want to find it? So you really want to build a query. Listen carefully. Now in this case area, if you want to find particular object from the collection, you wanted to first give the criteria how you're going to find it. And how do you get that kind? You always use something called builders. Okay, no? So builder dot filter dot equal first name. So please check whether the first name key matching with the value of that first name. If it is available, how do you set the value? Update.set. Update.set. What do you want to change? I want to change its last name. Update.set. I want to change its city. Update.set. I want to change its age. Okay, you know? So we can really write like this thing. Update.set. Dot set. Dot set. If you want to have 12 attributes, I think 12 attributes I can set like this way. So here you really find this programming really looks like as much more object oriented way programming. So where we are relying on something called filter. So filter defines me the query, equal to, not equal to, less than, greater than. This kind of actually your expressions will be there, operations will be there. Okay, you know? So I could really find what kind of filter criteria I like to average here. So I just want to compare. So equality, not equal to, NEQ, less than, LT, LTE less than equal to. Such kind of keywords are actually available for this particular filter, which is given for the builders. Okay, no? So this is the way we actually write our code for updation, write the code for deletion. Now, how do you want to delete? So delete one. You are using your lambda expression, and under that lambda expression you're going to compare. Please only find that particular object whose first name is exactly matching with that particular name which you specified. Console or read line. And if that name is been matched, first name, then only delete that record. So do you want to delete by first name? Do you want to delete by last name? Do you want to delete by age, or do you want to delete by its corresponding location? So it's simple like changing your lambda expression. Don't think? Fantastic coding. So don't think while going with this whole kind of programming, we are using lambda expression. We are using anonymous type. We are using auto properties. We are using generic collection. We are also using here Swiss statement. So C# concept, object oriented programming concept, okay, link like related things, anonymous method, anonymous type, extension method. I think these all kind of things are coming together for really building this whole solution. And this is the way we really get the data. Okay, you know? So read all the documents, how the documents will be read. Find method. So when I said the find method, I'm passing that bson document as a one constructor, and based on that I really find all the data will be taken. So if you want to really find particular record, you give some expression. If you don't want to give any expression, just write something called new bson object. So that means according to the bson structure, binary JSON structure, take that data and try to print each and every data on a screen. See, this is my simple for loop is actually iterating the collection which is given by this find method. You can really put a filter under the find also. But now I wanted all record to be reader, so I just use here something called find against the collection, and the data has been taken, the data has been presented, and that is a simple kind of work we have done it here. Okay, this is the thing what we call under your main function, and my main function is ready for implementation of my solutions. Good, no? Fantastically, we have seen one example where the example tries to tell me how we can really perform insertion deletion operations against my MongoDB. So can we have likes, social networking related data, likes, trends, comments, such kind of data which is always going to grow against your products. If you just go back and try to use Amazon.com site, correct? No? If I just go back and try to use Amazon.com site, please look around very well. E-commerce portal, Amazon.in. So whenever I access Amazon.in website, so during that time I really get this website is a world's #1 website, which has been highly accessed by consumers for purchasing products. So you can really find the products, bestsellers. You can find some good book which you like to order. Might be something called object oriented analysis design, head first book. I really see the book. I really like this book. If I really like this book, what I do, you see, you always find the ratings. You always go back and like that book. You can always so see below something called reviews about that particular book. So don't think if book is a product, so I can put the book information within my RDBMS database. And how many people have given likes? How many people have commented? How many people have troll that particular product? Okay, how many ratings has been given? Can I keep this ratings data? Can I keep this particular comments data? Can I put this reviews data not in a RDBMS database but in a separate MongoDB database? So if I'm really going to make my today's modern applications, I really find my inventory is going to be stable, but my likes are going to be exponential because millions of users will be going back and trying to see my product, and they will be commenting, they will be writing some kind of reviews, they will be giving this particular rating. So I wanted this data is going to be exponential data is going to grow. So capturing such kind of exponential growing data within a RDBMS is really going to create a problem. So we like to go for this data to be stored in a hierarchical order. So how do you keep this social trending data separately? I think for that thing, we have to go for MongoDB. Are you getting no? That is why the MongoDB is used. So today I really find your e-commerce application or your online applications will have combination of RDBMS database as well as NoSQL databases, caching like a data, social trending data. We will always try to keep it in separate database called MongoDB database. So we really demand within our application, not only RDBMS database access will be done, but we also demand within a program, we will also have got something called MongoDB database access level. Because nowadays we really find MongoDB is getting more famous. Yes.
Come on, got your database on. It's Friday night and you can't take long. Gotta get your deployments and your data on. It's Friday night and you can't take long till you hit production. We got what you need. Now you're out of cash, but we act fast. Built on Amazon, baby. Baby, I know your database needs upgrades tonight. We got those skills. Baby, I know your database needs upgrades tonight. We got those skills. It won't cost lots of money. And you're still running legacy. If you need to wait, that's cool with me. Come June, we'll launch on GCP. Come on, got your deployments on. Your data's up and you can't take long. Got our hosted service availability strong. And scalability is always on. Now you hit production. We got what you need. Now you're moving fast, but don't look back. Soon it's Microsoft, baby. Baby, I know your database needs upgrades tonight. We got those skills. Baby, I know your database needs upgrades tonight. We got those skills. Check out all your flexibility. Now you're running MongoDB. The next gen thing in databases. And now you've moved off legacy.
Free up yourself and stay in control. At last, come on and say, sign up for a cluster, get some cloud therapy, because you need flexibility. And I got just a thing, they call me database daddy. Cause anytime you want to scale it, our system very quickly gets you where you want to be, man. You'll have much more dollar in your pocket, cause Atlas is just a thing that you've been waiting for.
The next gen thing in databases.
It's worth more than diamond, more than gold.
And now you've moved off legacy.
Free up yourself but stay in control.
Baby, I know your database needs upgrades tonight. We got those skills. Baby, I know your database needs upgrades tonight. We got those skills. Check out all your flexibility. Now you're running MongoDB. The next gen thing in databasing. And now you've moved off legacy. La 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 la. We got those skills. La 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 la. We got those skills. Moving on to MongoDB. Atlas is the best for me.
Okay. Just some logical break. I wanted to put it in this session. So thought let me just use this small video to keep this interest going on. Okay. So I would like to see you will go through this particular simple application which I created, which is simple like a MongoDB database connectivity with particular table with particular collection, how we can perform insert updation. And we can have one more extra separate MongoDB manager class, which will do that whole kind of work and will be able to access. So I can also build another application for Oracle also. Okay. But I don't want to go at this moment. So this is the way, according to this agenda, okay, I explain you about how exactly we can really perform MongoDB database connectivity. That was the first agenda which you kept it, correct? No? Till this particular point, whatever we covered, okay, it's a one logical or one particular milestone we have achieved. What is that? .NET Core Basics C# language basics. Basics. Then we also learn about something called collection framework. Not in detail, but most of the time required collections. We'll be using a lot of collection classes as we go ahead. So collection framework, we talked about here something called event driven programming. Right, no? Event driven programming. We also learn about something called what is that? Language integrated query. Okay, no? We also learn about language integrated query, event driven mechanism. Okay, no? We also talked about something called writing your applications with the database connectivity. Connectivity. Okay, no? This connectivity we try to learn about using RDBMS as well as using no RDBMS, no SQL, which I showed you here as a MongoDB, correct? No? I also explained you about something called serialization. Remember? Serialization. We talked about something called JSON serialization. We also learned about something called binary serialization. Correct? No? Binary serialization. We also learn about something called reflection. You know, this is our 1/3 of our syllabus. If you could focus on that area, correct? No, so 1/3 of syllabus means actually focusing on the core part. We are done it here, but still we would like to add something extra more. What is that? Oh, can we now become a more mature developer after having the learning of all those things? And being as a mature developer, can't we start using some good principles while building your solutions? Can we start using best design patterns for building our e-commerce application? Can we start using good framework or popular framework? I should not use word called good framework. I should use word called popular framework for building data centric applications, for building web applications. So for data centric applications, .NET Core has given you entity framework. And for web applications, we have got here something called ASP.NET Core. ASP.NET Core MVC, Model View Controller. And we also have got something called Service Oriented Architecture framework. There is something called as ASP.NET Web API. Okay, and you like to make your application cloud ready application. If you really want to become like to make application cloud ready application, so cloud ready applications, then you can focus for what? Then you can focus for your microservices architecture. So rest of the things, whatever we like to learn in the future, I think that is going to focus on this whole area. So up till now, this work has been taken care. Okay, till now, learn this all. Now henceforth, okay, try to learn skills for mature developer, where we would like to focus on good principles. We like to focus on best design practices, and we like to use these all kind of things in our upcoming sessions. Okay, this is the way actually I have organized my sessions for from Monday itself. Now it's almost I do find 9:21, and according to our time limit is like a 9 to 9:30. That is why I keep it here. So we have got now only 10 minutes left. I do not want to continue further. I would like to explain about Hollywood principle. I like to explain that thing, but I require more time for giving that idea. But what I want before going for that design principles, before going for that, why don't you implement this MongoDB code within your application and see it's working? That will give very good kind of confidence. That will give understanding that particular object model, so that from Monday morning we will start learning about here something called, okay, Hollywood principle. We'll try to learn about here something called solid principle, because these all principles have been used under .NET Core ASP.NET. Solid principle, and then we'll start focusing on web applications. So I really want to make this particular thing as your journey now. For next week, okay, next week is totally focusing on this ASP.NET Core, and next week we'll be focusing on your entity framework. And next week is going to focus on your web API. So you're totally having your roadmap for your upcoming weeks. Now every topic is actually very interesting and very important topic for you. So think about whatever weeks we are right now planning. Can I just show you? Week, next week, is going to focus on this area. Let me put here. Next week. So almost 2 weeks is going on. That means the third week is going to go now. So third week we'll be focusing on this area. Fourth week we'll be focusing on this area. Entity framework, web API. 5 week we'll be focusing on microservice architecture. Okay. Oh, slightly I'm going to change it here. Once we understand the web API, my 5th week, I like to focus on, what is that? Front-end application frameworks with ASP.NET Core MVC. So how we can use here your jQuery in a simplified way. But jQuery is not a framework, so I should give more focus on the framework. So I should use word something called Angular. How we can really create your front end using Angular and attach with your existing web API. How we can really write your application where we'll use React.js, and the React.js will communicate with the web API as a front end. Or can I just go back onto this area and use something called Vue.js? And using this Vue.js, I will call internally the web API and make my single page application. What is the concept I'm using here? That is my week 5 is actually focusing on the front end application frameworks, which you call as SPA, single page application framework with ASP.NET Core, and where we'll try to see that JavaScript related frameworks which are given called Angular, React, Vue.js will be used for connecting. And once our knowledge has been perfectly set out here, see 3, 4, 5, and then I'm going to talk about something called 6th week. I like to focus on totally microservices architecture. So how do I use my microservice architecture during that time? I like to understand about something called introduction to DevOps. I like to understand something called Docker. I like to understand something called container. I like to use something called Microsoft Azure Cloud. I like to show you how we can use AWS Cloud, or I can use my Google Cloud, GCP Cloud, where my existing online application will be deployed and you can access from anywhere in the world. But behind this whole application, whatever foundations we build, it will be running behind. That is what exactly like to focus it here inside. So during that time, how we can go for this cloud configuration, how we can really set up agile methodology, using something called continuous development and continuous integration, using something called Jenkins. Okay, can you have a complete picture about your rest of the weeks we are going to focus? So this is what exactly is going to be our next session, which we're going to plan it on 5th of April. Okay, so this is a new good start. We like to take it here. But before that, you still have 2 days in your hand to complete this whole area. Revise whatever we learn up till now. Revise this database connectivity. Revise your basics. Be familiar with your GitHub API, GitHub code repository. And now slowly, this is the what exactly things going to come. So anybody who is having 2 to 3 years of experience in .NET and they wanted to shift to the next company for working for .NET Core. So these are the kind of technical areas where your most of the time would be grilled on interviews, in your interviews. Even you're having something called 5 to 6 years of experience also, I think these are the kind of topics your most of the interview questions will be there. Okay, if you are fresher, being as a fresher, you'll be first grilled on these basics, and then on the top of that they will check whether you have got this knowledge. Okay, so there are so many kind of job openings are there, but now the candidates are no more having such kind of oriented focused learning, so we would take the advantage for this. Okay, so as I said that I don't want to continue further, but now if you have any kind of questions about the previous topics, you've stuck up somewhere, you have some kind of concerns about that thing, you can always talk to me, correct? No, and get that thing. Today you will do the practical. If you are interested, you can come down in the morning, in the afternoon time, 2 o'clock. I already decided now, still I don't have anybody a corporate training plan for next week. Only for Friday I will have some corporate training, Friday Saturday Sunday. So I think I'll be there for throughout the day to get your technical queries to be asked. So I have decided from 2 o'clock till 5:30 I'll be there with my Zoom meeting. Anybody can join to that particular Zoom meeting and come back for your applications. Okay, you can always come back inside this area. I'm very happy for this lab session. You can come back. Okay, Ravi, thank you. I think you have got certain call, so you can definitely leave this classroom. Even we are also now going to call up, but before that I like to take discussions with other things. Have you completed all your job? Priya, कालचं सगळं झालं का करून?
हो झाले.
कळालंय व्यवस्थित सगळं?
आहे डाऊट दुपारच्या सेशनला विचारते.
अच्छा, म्हणजे आता नको, दुपारच्या सेशनला विचारते का तू? ठीक आहे,
हा.
हरकत नाही. अजून प्रिया झालं. सोनाली, तुमच्या दोघांचं सेम लेवल आहे?
हो सर.
ओके. इन्सर्शन वर्क होतंय का? डिलिशन वर्क होतंय का? किंवा गेट आणि डिलीट वर्क झालाय का तुमच्या डिस्कनेक्टेड मध्ये?
हो झालंय.
झालाय. ओके, गुड. तुकाराम?
आज करतो सर मी त्याच्यावर राहिलेलं.
ओके. काल तुम्हाला वाटतं सेशनला नव्हताच ना?
हो सर.
ओके. काही सध्या कामाचा लोड वाढला की काय?
नाही लोड नाही वाढला सर, काल जरा लेट उठलो होतो.
ओके ओके, चालेल. पण आता शक्यतो काळजी घ्या, याच्या पुढचे सेशन्स शक्यतो मिस करू नका, कारण प्रत्येक सेशन मध्ये आता तुम्ही कधीच गोष्टी ज्या शिकल्या त्या सगळ्या शिकायला मिळणार आहेत. ओके,
नाही, आज करतो सर. आता 3 दिवस
हो.
सुट्टी. मला वाटलं कालच सुट्टी झाली, लक्षातच
हो.
नाही राहिलं.
म्हणजे जमलंच तर कम्प्लीट करा. गिटहबच्या रिपॉझिटरी मधला कोड क्लोन करून सुद्धा सगळं वर्कआउट करून बघता येऊ शकेल. MongoDB तुझ्या मशीनवर इन्स्टॉल केलंय?
हो, आहे ना.
आहे. त्याच्यानंतर MySQL तर ऑलरेडी असणारच आहे, बरोबर?
हो. हं.
ओके, गुड, दॅट्स गुड. मयुरेश?
सर नाही केलेलं.
बरोबर.
तर ऍक्च्युली वेळच नाही मिळत आहे, पण बेसिक म्हणजे रन करून वगैरे आणि
ठीक आहे. हे बघ मयुरेश,
नॉर्मल
हा.
कोड चेंजेस करून वगैरे बघतो मी.
तेच ऍक्च्युअली कसं आहे की मयुरेश, तुम्ही ऑलरेडी याच्यावर काम करतात, तर तुम्हाला पूर्णपणे सगळा कोड लिहायची काही गरज नाही. ओके मयुरेश,
हो.
तुम्ही जरी नुसता कोड क्लोन केला आणि त्याच्यातले काही मेथड चेंज करून त्याच्यातून जर समजलं तरी सफिशियंट आहे मयूर. ओके,
हो.
कारण कसं आहे की जी मुलं पहिल्यांदा नवीन शिकतायत त्यांच्यासाठी हा सगळा कोड लिहिणं अपेक्षित आहे, कारण त्यांना तो कोडचा प्रॅक्टिस होईल. ओके, जे लोक ऑलरेडी त्याच्यामध्ये काम करतात त्यांना तो कोडिंगचा फील आहे, तर ते थोडेसे पॅरामीटर चेंज करून कोड रिव्ह्यू करून पण त्यांना काही काही गोष्टी कळू शकतात व्यवस्थित. ओके,
हो.
फक्त जे काय चाललंय ते चेंजेस फक्त एकदा रिफ्लेक्ट करत जावा, म्हणजे आपल्या पुढच्या टॉपिकला हे सगळं घेऊन आपल्याला जायचं ना, हे की नाही?
हो.
हा म्हणजे जेव्हा आपण MVC वर फोकस करणार होतो त्या पाठीमागे आपण हा डेटाबेसचा कोड वापरणार आहे. मग त्यावेळेस आपल्या डेटाबेसच्या रिलेटेड आपले क्वेरीज डिस्कस होता कामा नये.
हो.
त्या डेटाबेसच्या वरती आपल्याला पुढे मग MVC फ्रेमवर्क, स्टेट मॅनेजमेंट, कॅशिंग टेक्निक, ऑथेंटिकेशन, ऑथरायझेशन ह्या गोष्टीवर फोकस करायचा आहे. म्हणून हे फाउंडेशनचं तुम्ही जर नुसतं ऍटलीस्ट बघून जरी ठेवलं, हा गिट रिपॉझिटरीचा कोड समजून घेतला, तो तुमच्या मशीन रन करून पाहिला, तुमचं नॉलेज बिल्डअप झालं, तर आय थिंक दॅट वुड बी नाईस. ओके,
हो सर.
ठीक आहे. मयूर,
हा सर.
सेम थिंग फॉर यू ऑल्सो.
सर हा सर.
ओके, मयूर तू सध्या कशावर काम करतोस?
सर .NET कोर.
.NET कोर. आणि मला वाटतं हे सगळ्या गोष्टी तुम्ही वापरतात त्या सगळ्या याच्यात, बरोबर ना?
येस सर. हा.
ओके, पण हे सगळं करता करता आपण जे काही कव्हर करतोय त्याच्यात भरपूर काही काही नवीन गोष्टी, नवीन इन्साइट तुला मिळत असतील.
येस सर.
म्हणजे कधी कधी आपण .NET कोरचं जेव्हा काम करतो प्रोजेक्ट मध्ये, प्रोजेक्ट स्पेसिफिक काम असल्यामुळे सगळेच फीचर कधी इम्प्लिमेंट होत नाहीत.
येस सर. हा.
आणि प्रोजेक्ट डिलिव्हर करायचा म्हटला की फक्त डिलिव्हरीचाच विचार केला जातो, त्याच्यात बेस्ट प्रॅक्टिसेस, वे ऑफ रायटिंग गुड कोड हे कधी फॉलो केलं जात नाही. त्याच्यामुळे
Yes,
तुमच्या
sir.
सगळ्या डेडलाईन मिस आउट होतात. तर
हा
हा
सर.
सेशन म्हणजे ह्या सेशन मध्ये आपण ह्या सगळ्या मोठ्या आस्पेक्टचा विचार करून आपण सगळं ऑर्गनाईज करत चाललोय. तर डेफिनेटली मला वाटतं जरी .NET कोर मध्ये शिकत असलं तर भरपूर गोष्टीचं व्हॅल्यू एडिशन होत आहे. एम राईट?
येस सर.
गुड. फक्त कोड रिपॉझिटरी एकदा चेक करत जावा, बघत जावा. त्याच्यामध्ये काही डाऊट असेल तर विचारत जावा.
हा
ओके,
सर.
ठीक आहे. गणेश, सेम थिंग गोज विथ यू ऑल्सो. मला वाटतं सिक्युरिटीचं काल वर्क झालं ना, सिक्युरिटी मॅनेजरचा?
हो झालं. हो.
ओके. त्याच्यानंतर आता डिस्कनेक्टेड मधलं इन्सर्ट अपडेट टेस्ट करून झाले का?
नाही अपडेट आणि डिलीट झाले. बाकी इन्सर्टचं राहिले.
ओके, गुड. विशंबर,
तर कालचं इम्प्लिमेंट करायचं राहिलं, आज मी करतो ते.
चालेल. शक्यतो आज इम्प्लिमेंट करा. आता तुम्ही गो लँग मध्ये जे प्रोग्रामिंग करताय, मला वाटतं अशाच प्रकारचं प्रोग्रामिंग सगळं चाललंय, बरोबर ना?
राईट,
ते
फक्त आमचं
फक्त त्या
MySQL नाहीये.
हा, तुमच्या तर MySQL नसेल, पण तुमचे डायरेक्टली डिक्शनरी ऑब्जेक्ट्स असतील, डायरेक्टली कलेक्शन्स
मी
असतील.
CSV फाईल म्हणून डेटा
हा, म्हणजे CSV फाईल,
प्रोग्रामॅटिकली
हा
घेतलं.
एक्झॅक्टली. म्हणजे तुमच्यासाठी डेटाबेस हा तुमची एक्सेल शीट झालेली आहे, CSV फाईल झालेली आहे की नाही?
बरोबर.
आणि त्याचा काहीतरी कनेक्टर गो लँग मध्ये वापरून तुम्ही सब प्रोग्रामिंग करत असाल. म्हणजे पाहिलं तर लँग्वेज गो लँग असो किंवा जावा असो किंवा पायथन असो, आपल्याला जर कनेक्टर मिळाला आणि त्या कनेक्टरचं डॉक्युमेंटेशन मिळालं, तर आपण ते प्रोग्रामिंग त्या लँग्वेजच्या पद्धतीने करू शकतो.
बरोबर.
Okay, you can correlate with your data engineering job with this particular development, and if you keep watching those particular code repository and try to take that code and make modifications, your learning will be right way, correct? No?
बरोबर.
Okay, and Ajinkya, Sorali, Neha, Nikita, तुम्ही सगळेजण ह्या टेक्नॉलॉजी पहिल्यांदाच शिकतायत. त्यासाठी तुमचं कोडिंगचं प्रॅक्टिस जास्त होणं अपेक्षित आहे. ओके, जर मी समजा हे 2 तासाचं सेशन जर कव्हर केला असेल, तर तुम्हाला कमीत कमी ह्या 2 तासाच्या सेशनसाठी एक 5 तास तरी कोडिंग केलं पाहिजे. तेव्हा तुम्हाला ह्या गोष्टी एकदम डोक्यामध्ये फिट्ट बसतील. ओके, जे नवीन टेक्नॉलॉजी शिकतायत त्यांना प्रत्येक वेळी एक डाऊट असतो, एवढं सगळं कळतोय, हे सगळं लक्षात राहील की नाही? प्रॅक्टिस केली तर सगळ्या गोष्टी लक्षात राहतात. फक्त वर पाहिलं, समजून घेतलं, कोड रन केला, तर ती गोष्ट त्यावेळेस कळेल, परंतु 5 दिवसांनी तुम्ही विसरून जाल. आणि जसं आपण ऍडव्हान्स टॉपिकला जाऊ, ह्या पाठीमागच्या गोष्टी जर आपल्या क्लिअर नसतील, तर आपल्याला पुढच्या टॉपिक समजण्यासाठी थोडंसं कॉम्प्लेक्सिटी, थोडंसं ओके ब्लॉकेज येऊ शकतो. म्हणून शनिवार रविवारचा टाइम आहे, त्याच्यामध्ये पाठीमागचं सगळं रिव्हिजन करून ठेवा. या सगळ्या गोष्टी परत एकदा समजून घ्यायचा प्रयत्न करा. त्यासाठी सगळे रेकॉर्डेड सेशन बघायची गरज नाहीये. रेकॉर्डेड सेशन फक्त गरज लागली तर बघत जावा. नाहीतर प्रत्येक रेकॉर्डेड सेशन परत परत पाहायला आलं तर तुमचा त्याच्यासाठी 2 तास 3 तास असा वेळ जाईल. आणि जे इम्प्लिमेंट करायचं त्या गोष्टी राहून जातील. जेवढं कोडिंग कराल, कोडिंग मध्ये डाऊट येतील, ते डाऊट रिझॉल्व्ह करायचा प्रयत्न कराल, आमच्याकडून माझ्याकडून हेल्प करून घ्याल, तेवढं जास्त नॉलेज वाढेल. ओके, डॉक्युमेंटेशन वाचून आणि फक्त कोड वाचून आपण कधीच प्रोग्रामर बनत नाही. जेवढा कोड टाईप करू, जेवढा कोड थिंकिंग करू, जेवढा कोड इम्प्लिमेंट करू, तेवढं आपलं कोडिंग स्किल डेव्हलप होणार आहे. ओके अजिंक्य? येस, राईट. ऋतुजा? I think Rutuja is not there today, correct? No. Neha, Nikita, you are there, correct? No. Good. I think Sumit is not there at this moment. I don't see Sumit. Okay, need to just see. He might be busy with his own early time. So can we stop for the day? And tomorrow and day after tomorrow we will not have session, but Monday morning we will start with our session about our design principle, and त्याच design principle ला घेऊन आपण कंट्रोलर्स कडे जाणार आहोत आणि मग आपण ASP.NET MVC चं ऍप्लिकेशन सुरू करणार आहोत. ओके, अशा प्रकारची जर्नी राहणार आहे. थोडस HTML जर रिवाइज करून ठेवलं असेल तर बरं होईल. ओके प्रिया, सोनाली, बेसिक HTML माहिती असायला हवं. ते
हो
थोडंसं
सर.
रिव्हिजन करावं लागेल. ओके,
हो सर.
त्यासाठी पाहिजे तर मी तुम्हाला काही वेगळे एक्स्ट्रा मटेरियल शेअर करतो. पण आजचं हे सगळं काम करायचंय. दुपारी 2 वाजता काही डाऊट असेल तर आपण ते क्लिअर करूया. ओके मयूर? तर whenever you free now, since all of you are working from home, so you can also peep sometimes in this particular Google meeting also, sorry, this particular Zoom meeting. ओके, 2 ते 5 हा टाइम असाच मी ठेवलाय की तिथं मी अवेलेबल आहे. कधी पण कोणी पण येऊन बघू शकतं काय चाललंय. ओके, किंवा मला प्रश्न विचारू शकतो. नुसतं आपल्याला लिंक क्लिक करायची आणि कनेक्ट व्हायचे आणि डाऊट असेल तर विचारायचं, आणि जर का तुम्हाला नसेल तर तुम्ही लिव्ह पण करू शकता. पण मी स्वतः त्या मीटिंग मध्ये कंटिन्यूस राहणार आहे. ओके, so mentor is always available on a server, Zoom server. You can always make a request, come inside, discuss and go. That is the kind of criteria we are trying to have it here. ठीक है? So can we stop? And Sorali, Priya, Ganesh, Ajinkya, Neha, Nikita, okay, and others, you're also welcome if you have time to join in that lab session. जे आज केले ते तिथे इम्प्लिमेंट करून पाहायचं आपल्याला. ठीक आहे? Can I stop this meeting now?
Yes, sir.
Okay, see you then.